Yeah, so it's a daycare facility. It's always been a daycare facility, and the seller seems to be pretty motivated. She's firm on her price, but me just looking at the comps from a surface level, it seems like it's a good opportunity. I don't have Reonomy, but I have somebody, obviously my guy Kyle that does. I wanted to look and see what the comps was and have a good idea of what you think I could wholesale it for. I think it's a good opportunity. And the numbers have room to increase also. And it could be used for more than what it's used for right now.
All right, let's talk about it. So, I'm just reading the note you sent me. 72K gross income. Tenant pays utilities, and lease expires in June 26. Owner pays, let's see here, 1,700. Let's just do expenses down here. Expenses are 3,100 for taxes, 1,700 insurance, very cheap stuff. Landscaping is $4,000. Okay, and then nothing else. Roof is from 2012, newer HVAC, which is nice, gas heat, new French porch, some light renovations. Let's look at this deal from a different perspective now. Let's do some numbers. Okay, so now this is the detail. Obviously, this is not all the expenses. You have to add in a vacancy rate management fee and other things. So we're going to add in another 15% for all of that. So I got 3,100, 1,700, 4,000 plus 15% of 72,000. So let's do some math. So 72,000 minus 15% gives us 61,2 minus 31, 17, and 4. So that's 7, 8, 88. So minus 8,800. NOI, put this down here, NOI is roughly 52,000. So NOI is 52.4. The big thing I have here, there's a problem in this deal. There's a red flag. What is it? Anybody can say it, by the way, if they think about it. But Logan, if you have it on top of your head, what is a red
What's
flag?
I'm not sure.
The lease
Sandra?
expiring. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the lease. She said they do want, yeah, they do probably want to renew. They've been there since 2021. It's
Yeah.
just technically up, but the building has always been leased for that. And
So what I'm
um,
saying is that I would like to have that like a buyer, an investor like myself would be like, hey, like I'm not going to buy this deal unless that's confirmed.
okay, that makes
Right? Like
sense.
I want a new lease signed. Give me a 5, 10 year lease. I don't want to, give me a long-term lease at a stronger rent number, right? So if they're at 72, why don't we try to get them to 72 triple net? Why don't we try to get them to cover some of these expenses, right? Whatever we can get them to do. Because right now they're only paying $6,000 a month gross plus utilities,
Yeah,
right? Can we get them to $7,000 or $8,000 a month plus utilities? Like, can we raise the rent so that this income number, every dollar we get is just going to increase this number? And right now, you said she wants 600K, right? All right, so let me just plug in the phone and then we're gonna dive into some numbers now. Let's move this into the corner so we have all this detail for us to merge. Okay, so we have all this detail. Let's dive into some numbers right now because this deal is going to be basically, like a sale, a setup like a triple net deal. Like someone's going to buy this and keep it for a while, and hopefully this tenant just continues to pay them. I'm going to be honest though, if this tenant leaves, like the problem when it's very hyper custom, like a daycare, is that it's hard to replace it. If this tenant randomly leaves, okay, and I'm not saying they're going to, I'm just saying if they randomly all of a sudden business is bad, whatever happens politically, like again, there's some times where like some of them are state backed, like a government backed funded, right, government funded from the state. And then other times they're not, right? And if this just is running a business, then you're reliant on this operator to do good business, right? To continue to afford to pay you. So daycares are very scary. I literally had a daycare. I had a deal with a kiddie academy, and it was a nightmare of a deal. We ended up not selling it, but I ended up getting. I was able to try to get this thing for a steal of a price, and I didn't have a single person interested in doing the deal.
mm,
Like it was a steal of a deal. The problem was that it was going to cost if the Kitty Academy ever went out, it was going to cost 200,000-300,000 to white box everything, or a couple hundred grand to to gut the whole building and then white box it and then restructure the building to be a multi-tenanted retail. Mine was also in a little bit of a weird area. It wasn't like right off, it wasn't like a highway, so it was going to be a little bit of a weird setup. So that all being said, for your deal, price per square foot in this market, have you even looked it up or no?
I just looked at some comps of buildings that size that were just commercial buildings. And even but all the commercial buildings and even the residential buildings of that square footage are selling like a million plus. So I was just looking at just buildings of that size was a million plus. From CREC, not CREC, was it some no LoopNet
Mhm.
and
Yeah, but
CREC, I
LoopNet, you
think.
can't look at that. It's just what
Nah,
that's
not
only what's
CREC,
for sale.
LoopNet. I think it was yeah, I was looking some for sale on LoopNet, but I think I seen some sold. Maybe was it CREC? I think I seen some sold comps.
Okay, I was gonna say CREsync, you could probably find it. CoStar is really the best place to look it up, so I'm gonna look it up real fast. The daycare. By the way, CoStar only says it's 1,900 feet, by the way. That's what CoStar says. I'm not saying that's accurate. I'm saying CoStar says it's 1,924 feet. And then if I
Okay.
go to a sale comp, retail slash office, I'll even do healthcare. Sale date, let's do the last 2 years. Let's see what comes up. I got 42. Let's do the last 12 months because we don't need to go back that far. Last 12 months. Okay, a nice little small office sold for 270 a foot. How do you know it's 3,500 feet? She mentioned that over the phone?
That's where on my system, looking at it up, that's what I seen, which basically is just prop stream. That's what it said. So I got to verify on the county now.
Yeah, I mean, I see a couple of decent comps that say 270 a foot, 285 or 283 a foot, and then 270 a foot. So that's somewhere in that range. So you need to confirm the square footage. So what I would try to do is try to get with her and try to clarify that um, in this market because again, let's just say 270, 273, and 281. Okay, these are the price per square foot's in the market. Okay, so that's pretty comfortable for smaller buildings just like this. That makes me feel kind of warm and fuzzy inside. All right, I feel decent about it. Now the question is this the actual square footage? Because again, roughly, let's just say 270. I'll always go to the lowest one. 270 a foot times 3,500 feet is 945 grand. Okay, now that's just a price per square foot metric. Obviously, that doesn't mean much unless this is confirmed. Because CoStar, by the way, says it's 1,924 feet. So if CoStar is correct, 1,924 times 270 feet, 270, that's only 519,000.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
That is a huge difference. This is why having the correct data is very important. Because if you ran some numbers off of 3,500 versus 19, which is basically half, it's almost half the square footage mentioned. I would confirm that. But like again, like for me, I'm looking at 1924 unless proven otherwise. That's what's scary. By the way, you could just measure the roof, by the way. If you guys didn't know that, you just go in Google and right click and hit measure distance and you
On
can
the county website, it say 3,500 Mecklenburg County.
I would call her up and say, like, hey, just to clarify, can you confirm with me the square footage of the building?
Yeah, and it says 4,485 is the total, including the non-livable. Uh, so yeah, I believe the county probably is most accurate, but I'm gonna call it for sure,
Yeah,
100%.
I would just call to confirm. That's one. Number two, and by the way, it's been wrong before. I'm just want to understand. Like, it's not like it's unheard of for that to be wrong. Now, real quick, I'm
Absolutely.
going to go to lease comps in the same market, and I'm just going to do a sale date 12 months ago. Got 49. Holy shit, you got a ton of lease comps here. I'm looking for a tiny little crap building similar to this one, just in case we have to release it. 20 a foot triple net. It's not bad. A lot of these are on like huge buildings, so it's kind of hard to go off that. You know what I mean? This one here.
So
This is
small.
about $33. That's a 280 foot office. That doesn't really count.
And what do you think about the fact that it's zone RM17 for multifamily, 17 units per acre? It's almost an acre, it's 0.94.
Okay, but I'm saying to knock it down and then build 17 apartments. I would talk to the town. I mean, like the problem is that the
Yeah.
lot is funky as hell. Like it's like a weird shaped lot.
I mean, you think so?
I mean, it's like a pizza pie, right? Like it
Yeah,
just
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So look, I mean, if it's 3,500 feet and you got this, and then you could rent it out. Let's just say this is where I would say that you can make some decent money. Okay, just get the current tenant to pay you 20 a foot triple net. Get current tenant to pay you 20 a foot triple net. Okay, which I mean at 3,500 feet, which if that is the case, you'll be at 70,000. What is that? Yeah, 70 G's a year triple net, 70K a year triple net. Because at 70 triple net, that's a 10 cap at 700. Someone's gonna pay it if you get them to sign a 5 year.
So you saying I should negotiate with the seller and get them to get the tenant to extend as part of me buying it?
Yeah, just like look, one of the things that's obviously very scary for my partners is how I'd speak to her. One thing that's scary for me and my partners is the fact that this tenant has a lease that's expiring next year. You're saying that like again, like I can't just take your word for it. You wouldn't take my word for it. Like I'd like to have is there a world where maybe we can get a signed lease extension from the tenant? This way we
Okay.
could maybe make this a little bit more comfortable to moving forward. Once you get, and then say like, look, market is now $20 a foot triple net. Do you think you can get them to sign that, which would basically be $70,000, and then they pay all the taxes, insurance, and everything on top?
And she told me there was additional space in the attic that's not accounted for in the square footage that could be added and bring in additional income or additional students. Even if we charge her at the rent, I mean the record of 3,500, if she technically can get more, it still could be an upside for her.
Yeah. So look, I'm just saying, like, I would definitely get them to raise the rent. I would even try to say, like, look, if you can get right now they're paying 6,000 a month plus utilities, I'd love them to pay 7,000 a month triple net. If you can get them to like 7 G's a month triple net, so they pay all the taxes, insurance, maintenance, like everything for the building,
Mhm.
included, this could be a very good deal. Because all of a sudden you take them from 3,500. Let's actually, we don't even need that. We're going to do a flat rate. We're going to do 7,000 a month, okay, which is 84,000 per year. 84K a year, you're going to probably be able to sell this for 840. A 10 caps at eight is 840,000. You might even be able to sell this between an 8 and a 9 cap. 7,000 a month triple net. That's what you need her to sign. That would be great. Performa value is probably going to be almost a million, right? Current value, if you get them to sign this, you're going to easily sell this around 900K, maybe 850, right? And you have it at 600.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's some room. There's definitely some room there. But like, the problem is when you wholesale it for 700 and it costs you 50K to close, 30K to close, you're only making 70 grand.
That don't sound too bad right now.
Okay, hey, saying let's try to make him let's try to make you 200.
Nah, but your math sound a lot better.